We should talk about potholes.
Real estate
I
is
talked
on
about
the air.
that yesterday.
Thinking real estate is on the air. Thinking real estate is on the air.
Here we are. Oh, he had to remind me because we were talking.
Laura Dwyer Schlecky.
I have a guest.
She does have a guest.
Yeah, second week in a row.
That you've had a guess.
I think Bill.
That you've had a guess?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bill's getting a vacation here.
Good for
Of
him.
course, he must miss. I'm sure he misses us. I'm sure he's listening because he's not far. I think he's at Starbucks. So, anyhow, my guest is Scott Tembrink with the University of Michigan. Is there more to that?
University of Michigan School of Information.
Okay,
Work
I
with
thought
the
there was a
Citizen
continue.
Interaction Design Project. Oh yeah, I could go on and on with
That's a big
titles.
title.
Wow.
We didn't even get to my title, Community Project Manager for the Citizen Interaction Design Project for the School of Information at the University of Michigan.
Do you have to write that out?
That's rehearsed. That's been rehearsed for what, 6 months now, I think.
Really? So
And I'm
if
finally
I've got a
able to
sign-in
spit it
sheet
out.
and I say, what's
Yeah,
your
I just write
title?
Scott. Most people, the guy with the hat.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But your long curly locks are,
That's a,
once you got into the
That's a here and
university,
there.
do they
That's
expect that at
ephemeral.
U of M as clean cut?
I don't think so. I don't have a corduroy jacket with patches on the elbows either, so I don't fit
And
the
glasses,
stereotype.
yeah.
Pipe.
You're right.
You know, Jackie's going to the University of Michigan.
In fact,
Alright.
I participated in that effort.
Oh, that's right. I think that's why she got accepted, was your reference,
I
your
do
recommendation.
too. I do too.
So, and Steve Duke made a recommendation and Pat Birch. So, for those
Steve
of
Duke
you.
made a recommendation and she still got in.
I know,
Good side, so
I
mine
know.
must have been a really good letter.
Right, yours was even better. But Jackie is going to get her master's in urban planning at the University of Michigan. I'm really excited. I've really got mixed emotions. But on the mother side of me, I'm very proud of her.
What is the side that's...
The work side, she's my right hand. She's my right arm.
I see. You're going to...
She's yeah.
Well, maybe she can get
She still has a
retail of
mortgage
the bottom
payment
floor
to
of
make.
your
Well, she
building.
still has a mortgage payment to make, so she has to earn some money.
I see.
But anyhow, so let's talk what it is you do. Tell us what you do.
Citizen Interaction Design. So
That's
I've been
right.
on before, if you recall.
I do recall.
Talking
Couple
about this
times,
project.
under different hats, though.
Yeah, right.
But that's okay. We
We've
won't
talked
go.
a
We
lot-
won't go backwards.
A lot of fitness, but earlier
We're with
this
Jackie.
year, this school year, we talked a little bit about kind of what we envisioned, what the Citizen Interaction Design Project is, and probably a refresher is good for everybody because I need that all the time too. So Citizen Interaction Design is this partnership between the City of Jackson and the School of Information at the University of Michigan. And the idea is that information tools can have an impact on citizenship, community engagement, better relationship between government and citizens, those types of things.
Information's always good.
Information is always good, but this is more than sharing more or communicating more regularly or having someone who speaks better. This is about being a 21st century person and having a 21st century society and translating that to 21st century citizenship, because many of the people listening today are using Facebook to keep up with their friends. They're using social media to keep track of things that are important to them in the world, products that they care about, companies they're involved with, sports teams,
Whose birthday
local
it
events,
is.
whose birthday it is. And really this is an effort not just to get the city on Facebook, but to utilize a lot of tools that are out there. Local government has fallen behind across the country and across the world in communicating with people because technology moved forward so fast. So this is kind of an effort to say, it's working everywhere else, how can we make it work in the public sector?
Right. And is U of M getting any recognition from other municipalities for what you're doing with Jackson?
But we've had a few people contact us already and say, we've heard about the work you're doing in Jackson, we've heard reference to the fact that you might expand, or how can we partner, or how can we be involved. We're not to that point yet.
Okay.
This was our first year. We're kind of coming around to the last 3 or 4 months of our first cycle, our first year of this project.
Right.
And that's really about getting a feel for how this is going to work.
And what do you find the most challenging?
I think the most challenging is it's that you come in and think these tools can make a difference, and once you get in there, you realize that there's systems, there's processes, there's
More to it.
management, and all of that is going to impact, especially information systems. So, and there's politics. Obviously,
Really?
we knew that was coming. There's kind of the relationship between the local government and the community, and there's history there. So it's not as simple as seeing a problem and solving it.
Right. And how do the kids feel about that?
They love it.
Do they?
I mean, from a student perspective, I work on the community side, but what I see with the students is they don't get an opportunity to do something like this.
What do you mean you work on the community side? What's the difference between
My
community
job,
side and
my job
and
is
the student
to
side?
arrange the projects that students will work on, maintain a consistent presence in the community, build relationships, identify areas where the university can assist the city or can benefit from things that the city are doing, and build that relationship. The student side, we have another project staff person that works part-time on kind of facilitating the student stuff, but what I'm seeing is that they're really excited to have real-world problems that have a real impact on people's lives, and they get to work at a higher level with city government than you do almost on any project. Pat Birch, the city manager, has been directly involved in this project, and department heads are working directly with student teams. So
Plus you have some
plus
council
we have
people.
some council people. We've had you and other council people come in and sit in on the student meetings, give their input. We've had the business community, the DDA, the Midtown Association, all be involved directly in a number of the projects.
So you started with 10 projects, right?
Yep,
Do you
This
still
winter.
have the 10 projects?
still have the 10
So none of
projects.
them fell away because you found you couldn't accomplish them, or there was disinterest, or what have you?
no, we have student teams that are working on 10 different projects, kind of addressing information
And
issues
so,
in the community.
can you name those 10 projects off?
I can probably do it. I mean, I can name some right away. Some really interesting ones, I think, are the downtown construction.
Okay.
People haven't heard, we're tearing up Michigan Avenue over the next,
Starting in August,
yeah, we'll say starting in August and ending in question
a year
mark.
from then,
Sure.
roughly.
So, really hard on local businesses and hard on the community to have the downtown torn up like that. We're trying to look at that a whole different way and say, what can we do to attract people downtown as part of the construction and manage things like downtown access, parking in particular, awareness of downtown businesses that are open, stuff like that. So they're looking at, they've looked at things like signage around downtown and what do you need to know to be able to park? How do you figure out how to get from a new parking lot, because you're used to pulling up right in front of the front door of the business you're going to? How do you need to know how to get there? But also they're looking at things like kind of a virtual reality game. So it's a game that you play in downtown, and you have to go to different locations, get information, and it all happens usually
So
through
at
a
the
mobile
same
app.
time, you're encouraging me to shop downtown, or go to the local restaurants or what have you. You're trying to educate me about the construction process.
Yeah, so that's a third thing. I think the point of the game is come downtown and have fun.
Right. Okay.
Be downtown and enjoy it, and
Instead
the
of
construction
avoid it.
doesn't have to kill your enjoyment of downtown. Now,
Right.
the
It
other
could actually
thing is,
enhance.
the other thing
coming
is that it can
downtown.
enhance, and you could learn a little bit. We have no idea what we're gonna dig up. We're pretty sure
Oh.
we're gonna come up with some rail lines.
I just saw a picture this morning of the trolley that used to be downtown. Very
So
cool.
A lot of that stuff is gonna
Yeah.
come up, and, you can't do a project where you dig a 30-foot trench down the main street of downtown and not just uncover some history. So that's kind of another aspect of this.
We should
We'll
bury
work with
a
the
time
library.
capsule. We should have citizens
know-
come and put a whole bunch of, put stuff in a time capsule and bury it.
You know the clock tower downtown, right?
Yeah.
There's a time capsule under that.
Oh, yeah, I
and
kinda
that
remember
will
that.
be most likely uncovered as part of this.
Really?
I don't know. I haven't. The drawings aren't finished yet.
Yeah.
But it's
mhm.
very likely that we're going to at least come in proximity to that.
Right.
So it may be an opportunity to add another time capsule to
Right.
that. So.
Are your down? I'm gonna open a can of worms because
Yes.
I don't like to do that, but I will. Are your students dealing with the communication on what happens to the Louise Nevelson statue artwork?
We are the students, so they're not taking on specific
Controversial issues.
and that is controversial. So they're not going to say this is where it should be.
No, but I didn't know if they were dealing with any of that communication.
They are dealing with all communication about the progress and the content of the construction. So if someone says the Louise Nevelson is moving, that would be part of the communication.
Good to know. Good to know. I might have to go to one of those meetings.
But just because you say it's moving, I think it would have to be somebody with authority to actually move it before the communication would
crane.
go out. Or a crane.
Well, no, actually, we're going to be putting together a task force to deal with that because if the street's going to be torn up, the Louise Nevelson is going to be right in the construction way. And
As much as
Can we sell it?
why would you sell that piece of art? It's,
I couldn't.
well, like it or not, it's
Stir
a
in the
valuable
pot.
piece of
I,
art.
that's why you
It
can
is.
sell it, because
Yeah.
it's a valuable.
Yeah, if we sold everything valuable, we'd have no reason to come to Jackson.
Well, did I say sell everything of value? I did not say that.
Anyhow, I'm gonna pull together a task force, so I'll have to engage
Well,
your
where do you wanna
students in
put
that
it?
process. I don't really have a preference, at this point, but I think she needs to be set somewhere for her permanent home. She needs to stop being the Cinderella that gets ignored, because of the stepsisters. So,
Okay.
we'll deal with that another show. What are some of
So
the other
I will
projects?
say this, that the students are interested in engaged citizenship. And that might include how do you best understand what the community wants to do with it or what their impressions of it, of the piece are, or where they might think is a good location. Getting that input in a meaningful way. So more than SitPat does a poll. Which
Well, I saw
which
that.
is the worst place to put the Louise Nevelson? That's not citizen engagement.
Right.
That is asking people's opinion and then letting them fight about it, but not caring what they have to say.
Right, exactly.
And no offense to MLive, they have a different agenda. Our agenda is to allow people the opportunity to be engaged in a meaningful way, where their input isn't necessarily the deciding vote, but they actually have an opportunity to act on the information that they share and the information that they receive.
Right. Well, with that said, everybody's invited to participate in our master planning session, which is extremely important. And how's the group that's working on that?
Yeah, so there's a group working on the master plan and public involvement in the
Right.
master plan, right?
And that's open to everybody. You don't have to be a city resident to participate.
Really?
And I am
In
encouraging.
the city's master plan?
Uh-huh. Well, without a thriving downtown, your county isn't as strong. So I'm a firm believer that you can go to Detroit and look. Finally Detroit's starting to turn around, and the state of Michigan sees positive as a result of that. So, firm believer in that.
So I think that group, what they're really looking at, they're looking at city residents primarily.
Okay, but it is
Because
open to everybody.
It is, absolutely, but their focus is city residents and how to provide opportunities to engage beyond or before those
Decisions
meetings.
are
Because we're
made.
doing, I think, 7 meetings
8.
now?
8.
Oh, 8, okay, the number goes up every time I
Oh, it's
hear about it,
it's
'cause
8, and
originally
they're
I
all
heard
set.
6.
There's 8, and all the dates are set.
And,
Locations
and
are
those
set.
those are great. I mean, town hall meetings are kind of the core of local democracy, right? It's way we all get together. We've seen it on The Simpsons 100 times, that we all get into a room, shout out our stupid opinions. We get to argue about it a little bit.
Okay.
The people up front
And then
try to
government
control
knows what
things.
government's
And
gonna do anyways.
well, in some cases.
I mean,
but,
that's what people think.
but even if that's what happens, the town hall idea is essential.
Right.
But it is a little bit 18th century also. And it's really hard today for people to attend those meetings for a variety of
Right.
reasons.
Everybody's busy.
Everybody's busy and less engaged, or engaged in a different way. They're
Right.
engaging their friends online. You know, they're not even seeing their friends as often.
Well, but we got to remember Jackson's a demographic other than Facebook people. I mean, I've got a lot of constituents that don't use the computer because of, you know.
And do you find that they are more engaged in the community because of that?
I get good. I mean, they come to my meetings, my neighborhood meetings. You know, I almost think that the older you are, the more you're more important it is to you because you see the legacy that's going to be left behind. Where when you're young, you think the world's going to go on forever, right?
Yeah, although I wouldn't divide social media users into young people who use it and old people who don't.
Well, I don't mean to do that, but I have a lot of people who don't. I have a lot of older people who don't use a computer, and boy, I admire them because the computer is so time-consuming. I mean, it's so absorbing.
Sure, yeah, and so I shouldn't overplay the idea that online or social media
Right,
is really the
exactly.
focus of this. It's really about sharing information.
And quite
if-
frankly, I want to. My style is I want to be one-on-one with people. I mean, it's fine to communicate on Facebook and via email, and it certainly is quicker. But you don't see the emotions through those avenues.
Right. So I want to throw out a timely, I think, example of this. Potholes. Right? Number one issue right now.
No.
Yes. Potholes, number one issue, doesn't matter where you live. So there's kind of like 3 points around this that are really important. First of all, you can report potholes, right? There's phone numbers that you can call. There's a city phone number that you can call. There's a county phone number that you can call.
Okay.
And there's a MDOT phone number that you can call.
Oh, I
So
only knew the
when
city
you're,
one.
when
So.
you're driving down the road and
Okay.
you hit a pothole, you can pull off to the side of the road, figure out whether you're on a city, county, or state highway, make that phone call, and give them the information. Try to describe where the pothole was and kind of how bad it was, and then they will add that to a list. Well, a number of problems come up right away. I don't know, and I probably don't care who owns that road. I just want it fixed. And a really great example of that is MLive comments to the article about how the city, or they were saying the county was fixing the potholes in the road. And a bunch of people said, well, I drive down 94 and this da-da-da-da-da, and why can't they fix the city roads like they're spending the money on the highway project? And you know, it's mixing a bunch of stuff up. And the point isn't that we are uneducated, it's that we really don't care who owns the road, we just want it fixed.
Right.
So, and then the other kind of aspect of that is that when I share information about where potholes are, it doesn't just benefit, I'm not doing the government a favor who should be fixing my potholes in the first place, but it allows me to do things like track which potholes get fixed. I can actually see what my impact was. The other thing it allows me to do, if both of us share where we identify potholes,
Wait, did you skip a point? Because is there a place to go other than making those phone calls?
not right now, but this
Oh, okay.
this is the point. So if we had a way to easily share,
Okay.
if I could imagine there was, my steering wheel had a horn and a button that said pothole on it.
Oh, nice.
And every time I drove past a pothole, I hit the pothole button and it recorded where that pothole was.
Nice.
You'd
Okay.
be doing a lot of hitting.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And maybe
But
now
that would be sweet, wouldn't it? Maybe
Oh,
GM
I
or
don't
Ford
know.
or somebody should pick
Now-
up that idea.
Greg drives down the road and every time he sees a pothole, he hits
Hits
the
the button.
horn
Uh-huh.
and we start to build up a good
Database.
database. At the same time, I, who am a selfish driver, I just drive up and down my road hitting the horn over and over, right?
Hoping it will get repaved because yours does need to be repaved.
And and my data would immediately get filtered out, right? But the great thing about it is, as soon as we get some consistent data, once you start sharing, you can look at where the potholes are in the community, and if you go to downtown from the south side, you always drive up 4th to Greenwood, just take West Avenue. It was repaved, you're gonna see very obviously that it's.
Right, but then I gotta go down Michigan,
You do,
so,
you do.
well, we'll have to have.
So lots of
So
cool
we-
stuff going on. I'd love to
Okay.
talk about more projects.
Is there a website they can go to see what the projects
Yeah,
are?
citizeninteraction.org.
Wow, that was a good question.
Citizeninteraction.org.
And we could probably put a link on our website. I don't know if WKHM could put a link on their website.
Oh, we probably could.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so there would be many options that people, if they didn't get a chance to write that down.
Keep that information shared.
That's right. Our website's thinkingrealestate.com. And we still have a shortage of properties to sell, so call me to discuss putting your house on the market. You may not be underwater any longer. How's that? 780-3800.